Check this wisdom out right here. I'll be up through the late night because that's a lot of the times when the spiritual warfare goes on, and that's when the enemy creeps in, and he plants terrors while you sleep, because your body is relaxed, and you're in a spiritual state, in a sleep state, you know what I mean? So you can't consciously defend yourself because you're operating in the subconscious. But as I began to ponder on the word of the Most High, he showed me and gave me revelation of something. And back in the Old Testament, or I don't want to call it the Old Testament, but um, I would rather call it the Torah, because that's what it is, the first five books, the law. Um, and as I began to ponder on the word, he gave me a revelation. And when you go back to the book of Numbers and you read about Balaam, I think it's in the 23rd chapter of Numbers. And Balaam, remember, he was riding a ass, or what you would call a colt. And it's funny how Balaam represented you know um some type of sorcery or something like that, because even though, and it goes to show how the Most High can use anybody. He can use an ass, um to get across his point or his message. And that's what it's called. It's called an ass. But some people, if you don't like my expression of words, it's a donkey. You know what I mean? But you see, Balaam, was working for Balak, and Balak was paying Balaam, who was greedy, to curse Yasharel. And it's funny how he had a relationship with the Most High Yahuwah. He was basically an oracle, you know what I mean, to a certain extent. But where he went wrong is, because the Most High told him not to go, he went anyway, because sometimes it's hard to uh fight against the spirit of greed, or because it's an old saying that they used to say, everything that glitters not gold. And so it's another saying that they say is all money ain't good money, you know what I mean? And so Balak, he just couldn't take no for an answer, you know what I mean? And that's kind of where uh a lot of people fail, is because they don't know how to deny the gifts, you know what I mean? Because and I think we've all failed in that area, because we all want people to be good to us. But on this journey, I've learned that that I would rather people not help me. You know what I'm saying? I would rather do it myself, because in the end, the glory belongs to the Most High. But my point is this: um, that Balak, represented, um, you know, uh, disobedience, you could say, like, you know, um, he was resorting to, basically to witchcraft, basically, to sorcery or whatever, because, he was cursing, or trying to curse, or Balak was trying to get him to curse Yasharel, but he had already been given the are being he was already given the command that he can't curse what God is blessed or what Yahuwah God is blessed. But when you go to the Brit Hadashah, or you go to the writings, the epistles of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, you see that Yahusha uh told his disciples to go get the coat that had not been written by anybody. You see, and so the keeping of the Torah is obedience, because that's who Yeshua was. That's what salvation. Yeshua is salvation in Hebrew, but Yehoshua is his Hebraic name. That's Yeshua is what they called him, is what he was called in the Old Testament, Yeshua, which means salvation, which salvation means to rescue. But in the writings, they called him Yahusha, because they had a personal relationship with him. In the Old Testament, they didn't really have a personal relationship. The Spirit would just come up on them, and they would receive power. But in the epistles, we see that they had a personal relationship with him, and so it's the symbolism of the old and of the new, because the people that were being used, they were just man, and Yahusha was God in the flesh. And so even though we are gods, we are still human. The only thing that makes us God is because we can heal. Our body heals itself. Things of that nature. But as far as being able to resurrect ourselves from the grave, or being able to stop certain events from happening, we are not able to do that, because man is not omnipresent. So you don't always know what's going on, you know what I mean? And so, when there's certain events that's happening, you might not be able to stop that. But only Elohim can. But my point is that the symbolism of when Balaam rolled the coat and Hamashiach rolled the coat. That coat had never been written before. So you see two gods, at the same time. Balaam, basically bow, meaning money, so that is the symbolism of why Yahusha in the so-called New Testament, or the Brit Hadashah, told his disciples to go get a coat that wasn't written, because it was a confirmation that that whom God bless, nobody can curse, and he blessed Yasharel. In fact, the covenant that he made with Abraham was, I would bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. So I just thought that it was important, to reveal that, given the revelation, because like I said, Yahusha was the Torah. He was the Torah in flesh. That's why in John 1:1 it says, in the beginning was the Word. So what the Word came from the Father's mouth. When he said, let there be light, there was light. So if there was light, why would he need to create the sun? Why would he need to create the moon? So it has to be something deeper than that when he created the light. The light is the illumination, like the light bulb that goes off in your head when you learn right from wrong, or when you learn, oh, okay, this is how you do it. You see what I'm saying? And so that was the light, that's why he talked about day and night, that, if you're gonna do your work, you need to do it in the daytime, because the day represents the light. You know, you can get your work complete. It's hard to do work at night without light. You see what I'm saying? So you need light for everything, and so that's what the Torah brings to the table, is the light. That is the table. You know, I will prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. The light does that. You know, and so that's who Yahusha was in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? He was the light. You know, illuminating us of the darkness that we were born in sin and shaped in iniquity, so we operate in darkness. So, you know, the light has come to bring us out of darkness into the light. You know, and so that coat symbolizes us, because if nobody rides us, then we don't know where to go. We don't know what to do. You know what I mean? That you know, it's like when you ride a horse. You know, that horse, you know, you have to put a bridle in his mouth. You know what I mean? But you know, when you go back to certain ancient countries, they don't ride horses with bridles. They ride them bareback and just pull on their mane. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the Most High told us, to not have to be like the horse that's bridled. You know, that has to have a bit in his mouth to be directed. You see what I'm saying? You should be willing to, you know, to adhere and to be guided, you know, by his word, by Torah. So I just thought I would let that be known. I know I didn't start, you know, my message off with my beginning, but you know, I don't really, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is Moshe Ben Yasharel, your hostess with the Moses. Like, share, and subscribe.